So, a few years ago, I think it's going on 3, or maybe it's 2. I don't know. Or maybe it has been 3. Maybe it's going on 4. It seems like yesterday it fucking happened. So a few years ago, I had a lab Great Dane. It was a mix. Her name was Sheba. Sheba wasn't doing good one morning when I woke up, and my mom was home at the time. And so, at the time, I had the 1988 Bronco 2, and we decided to take her to the vet. So we take her to the vet, and they give her medication, pill form, and they told us to give it to her, put some peanut butter on bread, put the pills inside, give it to her, blah, blah, blah. And we give it to her, but she won't keep it down. She keeps throwing up. She's not doing good. We're alert already because our dog basically looks like she's dying. And after we try to give her the medication, she just collapses on the ground. She's breathing heavy and all. And she's just right next to my house on the ground. Just, she can't get up. She's just not doing good. And I can show you exactly where she was. So just picture a few years ago, you see that glass door on my house? My dog was laying right next to it. Basically right in front of that recycles trash can near that propane tank. So, you have that in your head right now. So, me and my mom decide, well, these pills aren't working because you can't keep them down, so therefore nothing's going to change. So, alright, I'll bring up my Bronco, and we're going to have to lift her in the back of it, because before, when we took her to the vet, like just hours before, she had enough energy where she could get up into the Bronco, but she can't hold herself up, so we have to do something to get her in the Bronco. So I came up with the idea. Somebody holds her, my mom can hold her by the collar. I'll get underneath of her with a beach towel and try to make like a little hoist and hold her, and then lift her in the back of the Bronco. I park it right next to the propane tank with the back facing where my dog is, which is that glass door. So my truck's right next to that propane tank. So I shut the truck off. I have the keys in hand. I put them in my pocket. My mom then calls my dad to let him know that she's not doing good and we're taking her back over to the vet. And so I go in my house and run upstairs and get a beach towel to do the whole hoist idea to help my dog get back in my truck. And that was my phone. And so and so I grab a towel, and through the window of the bathroom, I hear my mom, "Oh my God, there's a fire, there's a fire." So I rush downstairs, and I walk out of the house, and I see the back of my truck, but I run to the side, and I can see fire underneath the motor, and smoke coming out of the hood, like the cracks, the seams. And so my immediate thought is get the hose. So I get the hose, spraying it. Then I know, well, this is a gas fire basically, and I'm not really going to put that out with just the house hose. And at this point, I can see it reaching towards the middle of the bottom of the cab. So at that point, I'm like, well, I'm not stopping this because it's already catching. So I knew that it was parked next to the propane tank too, because when I reversed it, I was making sure I didn't hit it. So I'm like, oh, that's not good. There's a fire, and then there's our propane tank, and there's our house. So I did the only thing that I thought I should do, and so that was when there was fire. There was actually fire coming up the rockers of the Bronco. And basically, imagine if the flames were like solid if they were coming up and I went to open the door, they would just hit the flames. But so open the door, there's flames still coming up. I jumped in the driver's side, put the key in the ignition to unlock the shifter, threw it in neutral, and just got out and gave it one big push. And that basically, since the wheel was turned, it was turned to the right a little bit when I put it in reverse and parked. When I pushed it, it went off to the right and it went straight into our hammock that we had between these two trees. So it stayed there, and it just burned to the ground. Meanwhile, our dog is still not doing good, and it started when it hit the hammock. The back door closed, and the driver's side door had closed too, and just the heat and all the fire coming through the firewall and whatnot and underneath, it actually like blew the windows out. I guess because it built up pressure inside the cab, it blew the windows out. That was the first bang, and then we decided, all right, well, we need to take our dog and get to the other side of our house. So the dog got up. She got up and walked over, and then laid back down. She knew what was going on basically, and then between that the fire department was called, and they showed up and they put it out. I have some pictures of the damn truck on fire because I figured, well, the truck's gone, I might as well just take some pictures. There's nothing that I can do. I knew there was nothing I could do when I saw that it was fuel related, and there's just no putting it out. Any seconds further, I wouldn't have been able to get in that truck to move it, and I don't know what would happen if that propane tank would have went up or exploded, or the windows of the house for sure would have broken because of the heat. I mean, this fire got so hot, the aluminum rims on the front and the aluminum accessories on the motor melted. The throttle body intake melted. That's how hot it got. So yeah, they put out the fire. At this point, there's like nothing left of the Bronco as far as like door handles and whatnot. All that shit. All the plastics are melted. Everything. There's no fabric left. There's nothing. Everything's just a skeleton, a charred skeleton. So now I told you what happened to it. Here's a little backstory of the Bronco. The Bronco was bought by my grandparents. I'm pretty sure they bought it brand new back in '88. And it was my grandfather's like favorite vehicle. He called it baby, and that was his baby. And for years it actually sat down my grandparents' house. And it was basically going to hell. He'd run it every now and then, but it was just sitting. So my dad ended up getting in an accident with his truck, so we bought it off my grandparents. We bought the Bronco off my grandparents, so he'd have something to drive. And after receiving it, we realized, wow, this needs a lot. We had to do the brake system. It needed a new brake system. It needed a new fuel system. We had to get plugs for it, plug wires, basically your entire tune-up. New fuel pump in the tank. And to do that, instead of dropping the tank, I just I cut a hole in the floor and made a little door so I could access the pump and all, which I think that should be stock on any vehicle. I don't know why they didn't do that. But yeah, I did a lot of work to that. I took good care of that car. So yeah, fast forward to now. My dog has since passed away. In January. It was like January January 7th, we had to put her down. 16 years old, which that is just remarkable for anything a Great Dane. And so yeah, my dog Sheba passed away January 7th, a few years after this whole thing happened. And then about a few weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, my grandfather passed away. And it was hard because he knew what I wanted to do with this. I felt so bad that the Bronco went up in flames, but it wasn't anybody's fault. It just happened. I still don't know to this day what happened. I still have the motor out back. I would like to look at the timing chain because I want to see if it skipped or if it broke, because that would be my only guess. My only guess would be that the timing chain skipped a tooth. It threw spark and fuel into the breather, the breather and all, and there was a meltdown. It melted the plastic breather tube, and then because Ford has these fantastic plastic fuel lines, it wouldn't take too much to melt them, and I think that's honestly what happened, because that's usually when it goes, when you shut off a vehicle, the timing chains and all. So I honestly think that's what happened. So I have yet to take apart that motor, but I am taking apart the motor because I want to use all the rods for decoration on the rat rod. so yeah, but yeah, it's since my grandfather passed away, I decided, you know what? I need to do something. I need to build this for him. And so I took my first car, which is a 1979 Chrysler LeBaron that's been sitting back behind my garage. I always used to talk the car up. Everybody was, oh, it's ugly, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty nice. It's a sport roof, so it's got a solid painted roof. It doesn't have the vinyl top or anything. And I always talk the car up, like, oh, there's no rust on the body whatsoever. There's no rust on the outer part of it, but underneath the floors and all, the trunk, the fucker was rusted out. So when I decided that I was going to use the front subframe and suspension on this project, I was kind of hesitant. I was like, oh, it's so sad, like somebody could be using it. But when I noticed that the car was literally breaking in half because of all the rust, I was like, I don't feel bad whatsoever now, because the car was just a death trap. So that's still back there. I had cut the front of it off to use as the front end for this Bronco rat rod. So that's basically what I ended up doing. That's in the videos, and so yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been working on the chassis. I've been trying to figure out the subframe, get it all connected. I've got it connected so far, but yeah. So that's the story of it. If anybody has any questions, just put them in the comment of this video or any other videos. I'll be happy to answer them. So yeah, support me on this project. I plan to go all the way with it. So far, I've only spent $80 on metal to make the the frame rails for the front end, the subframe. So I'm doing pretty good for saving money so far. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this build. My dog was laying here, and so I reversed my Bronco basically right here, just like maybe a foot away from that tank, because I had the step here, so I wanted to get as close as possible to not put that much stress on the dog. And so the Bronco, literally the back of it, was right here. And my dog was laying here just basically dying. So I walk out of the house, and I come around here, and I see just fire underneath the front of the Bronco. And oh my gosh. And so the fire's spreading. I run, try to get the hose, try to put it out. It's not doing anything. Realize it's a fuel fire, and you're not really going to battle fuel fire with just a regular garden hose that big. So the fire starts creeping back, following the fuel lines and the wiring, and it starts going up the driver's side door. So I hop in it, put it in neutral, get out, and I give it a push. The wheels are already turned to the right, and it rolls, kind of goes like this and rolls in, and you can see the chain where we had the hammock. It stops here and it just burns up, and you can see the trees. The trees are still burned all the way up there. It's charred there. All these got charred. All this is charred. This entire tree got charred. It's actually like still cracked and all. Look at this. Yeah. Hey, look at that beetle. That's cool. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. But yeah, everything's charred. But yeah, and there's still glass from the Bronco here. I tried to clean up the best I could, but over the years, I guess all the rain and all, it washed away stuff, and so this stuff is appearing now. But yeah, here's a rivet to the hammock. It was just a bad day. There's still glass here, but like I said, the windows just exploded. Here's a lot more glass. Wow, I need to clean this up. That's not good and all that glass. Yeah, so that was the Bronco fire. There's still glass over here. Here's pieces of it. That's just straight up rubber. What's this? There's a radiator cap. That's funny. So yeah, I hope you guys understand what happened now. I tried to explain it the best of my abilities. So yeah, there's some stuff there. But that's what happened. All the way up the tree, it burned. Yeah, what a shitty day.